Beloved, the life you are living is not just about what happened to you. It is about what your internal command center has been trained to process, protect, reject, expect, repeat, allow, avoid, attract, resist, and rise into. Trust that your mindset is not just thoughts. Before we move forward, I invite you to grab that journal, your pen, some coconut water or infused water, herbal tea, or that amazing glass of wine, and go into a sacred space because we dive in deep. Get ready for your breakthrough. Season 3, Episode 2, CPU, the Core Power Unit. Sis, who is running your internal command center? Ponder that for a minute. Do you really have total control of your CPU? I want that to sink in for a minute. Grand Rising Inner-SHERO. Before we go any deeper into season 3, I need you to pause and consider something that may confront you, but in the most loving, liberating way. What if your life is not being led by your vision? What if it is being led by your default settings? What if the decision you keep making, the relationship you keep entertaining, the boundary you keep delaying, the apology you keep giving, the dream you keep postponing, the version of you that keeps shrinking right before she is supposed to rise? What if that is not random? What if your internal command center has been processing life through old instructions? Not because you are weak, not because you are incapable, not because you do not know better, but because somewhere along the way, your core power unit learned how to survive before it learned how to receive. It learned how to protect before it learned how to trust. It learned how to scan for danger before it learned how to recognize peace. It learned how to perform before it learned how to simply be. And today, we are entering the sacred command room. Sis, are you truly ready? And it's okay if you're not, but I celebrate you in advance for moving forward. Sacred pause. Mm. If anything came up in a loving way, acknowledge it. Write it down. No judgment. And just go with the flow. So I'm asking right now in this moment, be fully present. Not the public version of you. Not the polished version. Not the I am fine version. Not the version that has learned how to smile while silently buffering. Today, sis, we are going into the CPU, the core power unit, your internal command center, your mindset, your processor, the place where your superconsciousness, consciousness, and subconsciousness meet and decide. Get ready, get ready, get ready to receive. What do I believe? What do I expect? What do I fear? What do I allow? What do I reject? What do I keep repeating? What do I think I am worthy of? What do I think is possible for me now in this sacred moment? Because Inner-SHERO, listen closely, lean in. Your mindset is not just positive thinking. Your mindset is the operating command behind all of your choices. And if the command center is still responding to old pain, your future will keep getting filtered through yesterday's wound. So today, we are not here to decorate the mindset. We are here to access the command center. Season 3 continues. The SHENIXPWR Operating System is live. And today we ask, who is running your core power unit? Grand rising, grand rising, grand rising, womb sis stars worldwide. Welcome back to Phoenix Power Podcast, where women remember, rise, and reign. Season 3 loading. I am Honor Parrish, trailblazing Shero, womb conductress, transformational speaker, sacred advocate, and visionary behind the SHENIXPWR movement. And dear Inner-SHERO, today we are going deeper. In Season 3, Episode 1, we introduced the SHENIXPWR Operating System, the sacred technology framework that helps us understand the woman, not as broken, but as a living system that may have been programmed, compromised, interrupted, infected, or hacked by fear, trauma, shame, survival, and external conditioning. But now in episode 2, we are moving into the command room. Access granted. The CPU, the core power unit. And in SHENIXPWR language, your CPU is your internal command center. It is the place where mindset is not just a cute quote on a vision board. It is not just think positive. It is not just change your thoughts and change your life. No, no, as they say in 2026, miss me on that one. No, no, and no. We are going deeper than that. Your core power unit is the inner processor that interprets your experiences, filters your reality, stores your emotional files, runs your expectations, and decides how safe you feel becoming the woman you say you want to be. Because sometimes the woman is not stuck because she lacks desire. She is simply stuck because her internal command center is still protecting her from the very life she prayed for. Let that land. Sometimes your next level is not being blocked by a lack of opportunity. Sometimes your next level is being delayed because your system still identifies visibility as danger, rest as laziness, receiving as debt, love as risk, leadership as exposure, and success as a threat to belonging. So today, we are talking directly to the inner Shero, deep, deep, deep down in your womb. That has a direct link to your CPU. Not to shame her, not to rush her, not to make her perform healing, but to help her understand, overstand, and understand. Beloved, if your inner system has been trained by survival, then your mindset may need more than motivation. It may need reprogramming. It may need restoration. It may need a sacred system upgrade. Take a deep breath. Place your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your womb and say, I am entering my internal command center with compassion. I am not here to attack myself. I am here to understand myself. I am ready to see what has been running in the background. I am ready to reclaim my core power unit. Let's talk about the CPU. Since we're going deeper in a computer, the CPU is the central processing unit. It handles instructions, it makes calculations, it coordinates operations, it tells the system how to respond. But in SHENIXPWR, we are not calling it just a central processing unit. We are calling it the core power unit because this is not just about logic. This is about power. This is about authority. This is about the internal place where your life is processed before it is expressed. Remember, sis, whatever's going on inside is a mere reflection on the outside. Let that sink in. So your core power unit is the command center behind the woman. It is where your mindset, memory, perception, beliefs, intuition, emotional responses, and identity instructions come together. It is where life comes in its data and your system decides what it means. Someone does not text back. Your core power unit processes it. Does it mean they are busy? Or does it mean you are being rejected? You receive an opportunity. Your core power unit, the CPU, processes it. Does it mean you are ready? Or does it mean you are about to be exposed? Someone compliments you. Your core power unit processes it. Can you receive it? Or do you deflect it? You set a boundary. Your CPU processes it right then and there, whether you're ready to process it or not. Does it mean you are honoring yourself or does it mean you are being selfish? You rest. Your CPU processes it. Does it mean restoration or does it mean guilt? You become visible. Your CPU processes it. Does it mean expansion or does it mean danger? This is why mindset matters. Not because you need to pretend everything is fine, but because your command center determines the meaning you attach to what happens, also known as the energy or the narrative that you attach to what you experience. So here are the three levels of the core power unit, aka the CPU. Your core power unit has three major processing levels: your superconsciousness, your consciousness, and your subconsciousness. Let's make this relatable. The superconsciousness, the higher command. Your superconsciousness is your divine intelligence. It is the part of you that knows there's more. It is the part of you that receives wisdom before the proof arrives. It is your sacred download center. It is your God given knowing. It is the whisper that says, you are bigger than this. You are not finished. You are not what happened to you. You are called to more. You are safe to rise. You are being guided. There is another way. This is the part of you that has vision. It sees beyond the wound. It sees beyond the job title. It sees beyond the relationship status. It sees beyond the trauma story. It sees the woman you are becoming. But here is where it gets real. Your superconsciousness can send the download, but your subconsciousness may block the installation. You may receive a divine idea, but your old programming says, who do you think you are? You may feel called to speak, but your fear file says, stay quiet. Speaking costs too much. You may sense you are ready for more, but your survival code says, Do not get too visible. People may not like this version of you. So the question becomes, sis, lean in, lean in. Can your system hold the size of the download? Because sometimes the issue is not that you lack vision. Sometimes the issue is that your internal command center has not been upgraded to support the vision. The consciousness, the present day operator. Your consciousness is the part of you that is listening to this episode right now. It is your present awareness, your ability to observe yourself, your ability to pause and say, wait, why did I respond like that? Why did that trigger me? Why did I say yes when I wanted to say no? Why did I feel guilty for choosing peace? Why did I shrink in that room? Why did I accept less than what I know I deserve? Your consciousness is powerful because it gives you choice. And Inner-SHERO, choice is where the reboot begins. Not shame, choice. You cannot shift what you refuse to see. And you cannot reclaim authority over what you keep pretending is not running. So consciousness is the sacred pause. It is the moment between the trigger and the old response. It is the moment where you say, this is familiar, but it is not final. This is how I used to respond, but I have options now. This is an old program, but I do not have to keep running it. This is what fear wants me to do. But what does queenship require? Your consciousness is where you stop being on autopilot. It is where you become the witness before you become the warrior. The subconsciousness, the background processor. Now let's talk about subconsciousness. This is where so many women get stuck without realizing it. Your subconsciousness mind is the background processor. It records everything that you see and hear and say and feel. It stores memories, patterns, emotional associations, body responses, childhood scripts, ancestral messages, trauma imprints, and old identity instructions. It is not always loud, but it is powerful. It may be quietly running programs like, I am only loved when I am useful. I must anticipate everyone's needs. If I speak up, I will be punished. If I shine, I will be abandoned. If I rest, I will fall behind. If I trust, I will be betrayed. If I need help, I am weak. If I say no, I will lose connection. If I choose myself, I am selfish. And Inner-SHERO, here's the piercing truth. In love, of course. Your subconscious does not care what sounds empowered. It runs what feels familiar. That is why you can no longer repeat those patterns. It no longer serves you. That is why you can say you want peace but feel uncomfortable when life gets quiet. That is why you can say you want love but feel suspicious when someone is consistent. That is why you can say you want abundance but feel guilt when you receive. That is why you can say you want visibility but freeze when it is time to be seen. Your conscious mind may want expansion, but your subconscious mind may still associate expansion with danger. This is not failure. This is programming. And programming can be updated. That's why we're here. We are spiritual beings having our own unique sacred experience. At this time, sip on your drink, water, and if anything comes up, jot it down. I have coconut water, by the way. Delicious. So diving a little bit deeper. So the mindset shift from default mode to command mode. Now let's shift the paradigm. Most women are not living from command mode. They are living from default mode. Default mode is when the old system decides before the conscious woman gets a vote. Default mode says, I always do this. This is just how I am. I cannot help it. I have always been this way. This runs in my family. I do not trust people. I have to do everything myself. I am just strong like that. But command mode says, I may have learned this, but I can unlearn it. I may have inherited this, but I can interrupt it. I may have survived this way, but I do not have to reign this way. I may have been programmed by fear, but I am now available for truth. I may have protected myself with walls, but I am ready to build sacred boundaries instead. I may have called this personality, but I now recognize it is programming. Command mode is not control. It is conscious self leadership. It is the woman choosing to stop letting unhealed memories make current decisions. It is the woman saying, fear, you can ride, but you cannot drive. Trauma, I see you, but you cannot lead. Shame, you are not my advisor. Survival, thank you for getting me here, but queenship is taking command now. Here's a relatable moment. The woman who looks fine but is buffering. Let me speak to the woman who looks fine on the outside. You are showing up, you are working, you are caring for others, you are handling your business, you are answering messages, you are making plans, you are smiling in pictures, you are supporting everybody else's becoming. But internally, you are buffering. Have y'all ever experienced on your computer or even your cell phone and you go to install something, or even on YouTube, if you haven't, say, turned your TV on or off or something like that, and you just see that the circle and it says 13%, 42%, that's buffering. So sis, are you buffering? Are you tired of having to be strong? Tired of overthinking every decision? Tired of being the emotional IT department for everyone else's crisis? Tired of explaining why your peace matters? Tired of translating your pain into language people will not be offended by? Tired of carrying things you never got to fully grieve? Wondering why you cannot just snap out of it? Mm-mm. Inner-SHERO. Maybe you do not need to snap out of it. Maybe you need to scan what is running. Maybe your system is not lazy. Maybe it is overloaded. Maybe your mindset is not negative. Maybe it has been trained to anticipate impact. Maybe your hesitation is not lack of confidence. Maybe your CPU is still searching old files for evidence that is safe to rise. So instead of asking, what is wrong with me? Ask, what instruction is my system following right now? What old memory is advising this decision? What belief is processing this moment? What part of me is trying to protect me? What would my queenship command instead? The command center shift. At this moment, you might want to grab your wine, tea, water, take a sip, marinate for a few seconds. Inner-SHERO, let me make this plain and piercing. Your mind is not a battlefield because you are weak. Your mind became a battlefield because too many unauthorized voices were allowed to issue commands. Some of those commands sounded like family. Some sounded like culture, religion, love, criticism, protection. Be realistic. Stay in your place. Do not do too much. Who do you think you are? And without realizing it, those voices became internal instructions. But today, we interrupt the command. You are not here to spend the rest of your life obeying voices that never had the capacity to recognize your crown, sis, your royalty. You are not here to let fear run executive meetings in your mind. It's time to purge. You are not here to let trauma approve or deny your future. It was to extract the lessons and it made you stronger. You are not here to let shame sit at the head of the table. You are the head. You are the queen. You are the goddess. You are the SHERO. You are not here to let old rejection become your life strategist. That rejection, who reject you, it doesn't even matter. Release the narrative and the energy that surrounds that. Beloved, this is your command center, and it is time to revoke access, not with rage, with authority, not with performance, with presence, not by pretending you are healed, by choosing to become conscious. The shift is this. I do not have to believe every thought just because it appears. I do not have to obey every fear just because it feels loud. I do not have to repeat every pattern just because it feels familiar. I do not have to shrink every time my system remembers pain. I do not have to call survival wisdom when my soul is asking for sovereignty. This is the new paradigm. That is command mode, sis. That is the core power unit, aka CPU, coming back online. So here's an Inner-SHERO check-in moment. Let me ask you directly. When you get quiet, whose voice is loudest in your mind? Is it yours? Is it your mother's fear? Is it your father's absence? Is it the teacher who doubted you? Is it the lover who mishandled you? Is it the friend who competed with you? Is it the system that underestimated you? Is it the version of you who had to survive with limited options? And if the loudest voice in your mind is not aligned with your queenship, why is it still allowed to lead? I am not asking that you judge you. Absolutely not. I am asking that to awaken you. Because some of the thoughts you are calling Yours are actually old recordings. And today, you get to stop mistaking playback for prophecy. That old voice is not a prophecy. That fear is not a prophecy. That memory is not a prophecy. That rejection is not a prophecy. That delay is not a prophecy. That closed door is not a prophecy. Your core power unit is being invited to process from a higher command. Not from what hurt you, not from who left you, not from what failed you, not from what they said, not from what you had to become to survive, but from who you are now becoming. As we prepare for the sacred transmission, breathe in and let it out. Relaxing your shoulders, grounding in this moment with your feet firmly planted on the ground, on your floor. Inner-SHERO, as we come to this closing, a sacred closing on this particular episode, I want you to imagine yourself walking into a sacred command room. The lights are dim at first. The screens are flickering. Some old programs are still running in the background. Some tabs have been open for years. Some files are labeled fear. Some are labeled grief. Some are labeled shame. Some are labeled I should have known better. Some are labeled I am not ready. Some are labeled do not try again. But then you enter. Not the wounded version of you, not the performing version, not the version waiting for permission. You enter as the administrator. You sit at the center of the room. You breathe. You stop rushing. You stop apologizing. You stop explaining why you deserve access to your own life. And one by one, you begin closing what no longer needs to run. You close the tab of old rejection. You close the file of inherited fear. You close the loop of overgiving. You close the program of people pleasing. You close the script that said your voice would cost you love. You close the command that told you rest was unsafe. You close the lie that said you were too much. And then, and only then, you open a new command. I am safe to become. I am allowed to choose peace. I am worthy without performance. I am visible without apology. I am led by wisdom, not fear. I trust the woman I am becoming. My core power unit is restored. My internal command center belongs to me. My mindset is shifting into queenship, and I no longer outsource authority over my life. Season 3 is not just asking you to listen, it is asking you to awaken. Because every time you become conscious of what is running, you reclaim power. Every time you pause before repeating the old response, you reclaim power. Every time you choose a new command, you reclaim power, sis. Every time you stop obeying fear, you reclaim power. Every time you honor the whisper of your womb and the wisdom of your higher self, you reclaim power. You are not here to be operated by old instructions. You are here to operate from sacred command. Call to awakening. Before you leave this episode, I want you to do a sacred command center check. Ask yourself these three questions, only three. Number one, what thought has been acting like an authoritative figure in my life? The administrator. Number two, what old belief has been making decisions for me? Number three, what new command does my queenship require? Sis, do not overthink it, okay? Let the first honest answer come up, jot it down in your journal, put a star by it, and then write this down. This old command is no longer authorized. And replace it with your new command. Maybe your new command is, I choose peace without guilt. I trust my voice. I no longer perform for belonging. I am safe to be seen. I release fear from leadership. I move from sovereignty, not survival. I am the administrator of my life. Then share this episode with a woman who has been living in default mode and is ready to enter command mode. Subscribe to the SHENIXPWR podcast. Leave a review. Tag me with your new command and tell me what is running your core power unit now. Because the system is live. The command center is awake. The old voices are losing access. The mindset is shifting. The Inner-SHERO is remembering. And queenship is issuing a new command. As always, remember, rise, reign, dismantle the tunnel, become the light. I am Honor Parrish, and this is SHENIXPWR. Your core power unit is coming back online.